What we're seeing here is really a community vision that started over 10 years ago with the influence of the neighborhoods, the various organizations in our River Oversight Committee. They've worked tirelessly to really redevelop a vision for this part of the river to change it from its function as a utility or as a flood control channel into a real amenity, something that the community could appreciate and enjoy.
When we started the planning for the River Improvements Project some time ago, I think the vision that materialized at the time was to have the river be the connection between the north part of the community and the southern part of the community, kind of be that continuous linear park that connects our community.
Myself and all four of the commissioners have a very strong connection to the South Side. I grew up over here. Every one of us lived over here at one time or another. So we have that sense of what the South Side could be after so many bad things happening to it.
Traditionally, the South Side has been the dumping ground. They've put everything that they didn't want in their backyard on the South Side. Even on the river, they would dump concrete stuff to stop the erosion, but instead of doing something nice to it, they just found scraps of concrete and dumped it there.
We're at a point here where we are really at the cusp of showing folks kind of the first painting of what we're trying to create here.
You're not going to have this lush landscaped environment that you would maybe expect. You're going to start to see, sprigs of grass that will grow up over time, and then we come back a year later after each phase is completed and plant the trees that may be this small. Instead of, trees that you may plant in your front yard, we've got to plant trees that are very small so that these trees grow up in this environment because they have to get used to frequent flood events.
We used to bring our dogs down here and they'd have a hard time kind of getting to the river. If our dogs were still alive, I think they'd really love to see how things are changing and being put back to its more natural habitat.
And that means, when you have taller grasses, that means that you may see animals, fox or other snakes and things like that you may not see in a manicured park environment. People are going to have to understand that's part of the ecosystem. Those are the things that we expect to come into a more naturalized setting.
It was a very pleasant surprise, and it's one of the most incredible things I've seen in my life, actually, to see what looked like a drainage ditch suddenly become a really nice city park. And it's just a block away from home.
But what's the difference in the Mission Reach, which I think makes it just so much more unique, is the Mission Reach project will grow in over time. It will not be the same from year to year. You will continue to see, even from season to season, the project will continue to change and evolve.
There's value historically, culturally. There's value that the river brings to the area, and we recognize now we can balance better a utility or a river like this that serves as flood control. It can also serve other purposes. We can have recreational opportunities here.
I've seen places starting to rent out bicycles, and I think that is really going to bring the tourists down this way. Of course, the missions are a big draw. Everybody has to come see the missions. And I think, especially in the cooler weathers, that they will be more inclined to get on bicycles and bicycle down the river instead of driving in their vehicles to each mission.
Everybody knows about the Alamo. Well, not too many people know that we got 4 historic missions going south. And the river's been sort of the back door to those missions. And now the river becomes the front door. And it's going to change, I think, the whole complexion of the missions and the amount of people that are willing to go take a look at those historic treasures we have.
And if what we've seen on the Museum Reach after it's been completed now for a year is any indication, the Mission Reach is going to be a hit. We're already seeing, even with the project not open officially, people are just clamoring to get down there and to get on the trails and to see what's happening, and we're loving it. I mean, we're so excited that people are back to the river.
To some people, saying that it makes for a really nice walk in the evening might not sound like a big deal, but it it changes your attitude on your day-to-day when you have when your surroundings are are so nice. It's also, you know, it'll become a place where where neighbors mingle. It already is. We see people, and not just from our neighborhood, but from the adjoining neighborhoods. We, you know, run into each other at the river now. It's like a community meeting place.
I mean, I think one of the, you know, essence of being a public servant, being a volunteer in the community on a project is doing something that's, you know, not just for you or not just for the time, but having the vision, having the foresight, having the patience and the hard work and the effort that's required in a project like this that may be for the next generation and for generations to come.